friends, how's it going? Here's my predicament in this video. I wanted to talk about a handful of new products that I've been trying and kind of give my reviews on them, but I didn't necessarily feel like they all needed their own individual video. So I thought, what about a little grab bag review, like 5 products, under 10 minutes or under 15 minutes, however that works out. But keeping it fairly brief, but giving you all the info you need to know. Sort of a throwback to the Beauty Broadcast Express days where it was a really quick review every day. This could be just a chunk of quick reviews in one video. But I would say the theme for the products in this video is new stuff. Everything is pretty new to me, but I am at the point where I feel ready to review, so let's go. Here's the first thing. It's this Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. It says lasts 12 hours and is waterproof. I have this in the shade Natural Rose, and it's a very classic looking doe foot applicator concealer. Here's my deal. Immediately, fragrance. Okay, my mom used to do hair professionally, but then even after that, she continued giving perms to like my grandma, I remember, for a period of time. There is a scent involved with giving perms that is really hard to get out of your brain, and there's some of that in here. And I've noticed my eyes kind of actually having a sensitivity to this because, you know, I'll apply it right up to my lower lash line, and you get that kind of fumey, over-fragranced feeling. Another thing about this, I feel like I noticed better coverage as I first put it on and initially blended it out. And then in the very quick time it takes for this product to totally set, which it does completely set, I feel like the coverage is not quite as good. Like it somehow dries down and goes down a notch in coverage. And on top of that, for my skin type, it's just a little too dry. If this is something I'm gonna wear up on the under eye or try to cover some melasma, it's too drying as the day goes on. It really makes me look older as I wear it, and that's not what any of us are looking for. So does this top my e.l.f. Camo Concealer? I would have to say no. It's too fragranced, it's not quite as good a coverage, and it's too drying. Next up, we've got some new blushes from The Balm, and I am so excited about these. I ordered them from their website as soon as I possibly could when I saw they were coming out. They're little blush duos, and a lot of what The Balm has blush-wise, with the exception of maybe Hot Mama, they're all matte, and these are shimmery, glowy blush duos. So they've got the one called Game Day here, and you're gonna get 2 tones and 2 formulas. So the top one is gonna have a little more sparkle. It's very, very fine. I wouldn't even call it glitter. It's not objectionable to me on the cheeks. And then your bottom one is gonna be a little bit smoother, feeling like a pearlescent eyeshadow, you know, a lot of smoothness, no texture really in that one. So they combine these 2 different formulas, but also 2 tones. Like in Game Day, the top one is a little bit warmer, it has kind of some goldeny undertones, and then the bottom is cooler. And that's the one that I'm wearing today. This might be my top favorite. I really love the way that first shade looks going on. It's even a little more rosy than you might expect, but there's some warmth there. I really like it. That would look great on its own. But then you've got this other shade here, which can be fun to just layer on top to give you almost a highlighted look on top of that blush. There's just even more of a glowy sheen associated with the bottom. Then we have the one called Beach Goer, and in this one you're getting the shade called High Tide. It has a little warmth, but I'd say it's more pinky than the top shade in Game Day. And then your bottom one goes even cooler. Look how it's almost like a lilac-y sort of shade. So very, very brightening if you use that almost like a highlight. And then this set called Night Owl. This is for my peachy lovers because this is the most peachy blush, this one called Dusk. And then underneath that, my pan actually came out of its little packaging here, but Dawn is very smooth and kind of bronzy, kind of a coppery glow in that. Very beautiful. I wouldn't wear that as a pure highlight, but it does look pretty on top of that blush if you like to layer. So with these, I see a lot of options. One day or another, you might just want to go with one shade, but then you might feel like, oh, I want to experiment, I want to play and kick it up a notch. I think it's great to have the option. I really like the pigmentation. Again, even though I notice a little bit of a grit to the top shade, it doesn't literally feel gritty, but there is a little sparkle there. It really does not look problematic or overly obvious at all on my skin. I know I've recommended the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne palette. That's going to be 4 shades in one, and if you've ever felt like, well, I like the idea of a glowy blush, but I just don't need that much, or I need something that's a bit more travel friendly, you might look into these from The Balm because they're very satisfying. You get a gorgeous glow. 3 different shades to choose from. I really enjoy them all, but I think my favorite might be Game Day because I love how the blush is a little bit warmer. It has this kind of rosy yet goldeny thing going on, but then boom, you pop on the bottom part and you've got this cool pop on the skin. So I love those. Okay, let's talk NARS. They have put out the teeniest, tiniest eyeshadow palette here. This is their Wanted Mini Palette. It's gonna sell for $25, and every shade in here actually comes from their larger palette. I compared it to the Big Daddy, and you can definitely pick out that there are certain shades coming directly from there. You're getting 2 matte shades here, 2 shades that I would call smooth shimmers, and then 2 shades that have a lot of like kind of floaty flyaway sparkle in them that really require a special touch when you're applying, and maybe extra product like a special base, a glitter glue, or you're gonna need to apply those wet to have any control over those shades. Now I'll admit I was immediately struck by the size and cuteness of this thing, and I do think that this brown here is dark enough to create some contrast in the crease, as you'll see in my demo. It is pretty much deep enough to do what you need to do, and I can highlight with this other shade. But then when it comes to that pop on the lid, if I want to go to one of the more sparkly colors here, I've got to dip into it, I've got to wet my brush, and sometimes even that doesn't quite feel like enough. I feel like it should be laying down more fully. So it's kind of like, oh, is this your travel, vacation, easy go-to, toss it in the bag type palette? Well, it sure looks that way, but if you're gonna have a couple of really high maintenance colors in there and you're only getting a total of 6 to begin with, it might be a little more hassle than it's worth. Honestly, if I were looking into a small compact palette, and I love that color scheme, I would look into the Viseart Minx palette. This is one of their Theory palettes. You're getting more generous sizes per shade, and granted, it's a little bit bigger than this one, but you're getting 3 very basic classic mattes. You're also getting that kind of coppery shade, one that has a little bit of a rosiness to it, and a great shimmer here that can even double as a gorgeous face highlight as well. I think you'll get more mileage out of it, be more satisfied with those textures. Nothing is overly fussy here, just pop on an eye primer and you're good. Now at the same time I was sent that little palette, I also received these from NARS, and these are their oil infused lip tints. Now they put out one of these with their relaunched like special NARS Orgasm collection, and this was one of my favorite parts of that line. I love the texture of these lip tints. They are like a really, really moisturizing feeling gloss, not too thick, not too thin. There's sort of a gel-like quality to them, but I love the amount of surprising pinkiness that came out of this shade. So when these came in, I was really interested to try them, and there is definitely a sheerness to all of these. I think you've got to be looking pretty closely to see a difference between these two on the lips. This one, the one called Primal Instinct, is sort of like a Your Lips but better glow, getting more evenness to the look of your lips, more shine, but just a tiny bit of added color. And then these two, we've got High Security, which is going to be the one that looks more pinky, and then this purpley one is called Disco Infernal. The purple maybe takes my lips a slight bit deeper, but all in all, if you just kind of really like the texture and you're looking to expand on what you may have already tried with the Orgasm one, these are super close, so it's just kind of like pick one. A little bit lighter, a little bit darker, but overall kind of a berry tint to the lips. It is a beautiful formula. I still think my favorite is probably this one. It's got a little shimmer to it. It makes my lips kind of this pinky golden goddess type look. A little more of an X factor to this one, but these are still nice. I just wanted to point out that there are more options in that line. They have the very same feel, but overall a super subtle look to the lips. Last but definitely not least, who doesn't love a drugstore tinted lip balm? Nivea. This came up as I was on Ulta's website. It came up as one of the new products, this specific one called Blackberry Lip Care. I have for years loved the texture of Nivea's balms. I think they're some of the softest, most wonderful drugstore lip balms you can come up with, but the tint on this is absolutely gorgeous, and it reminds me so much of a balm I was raving about recently from the Milk line. They're Kush lip balms. There's one called Plushberry, I think is the name. This is so much like that. It's not exactly the same texture and thickness maybe as that, but it still feels super hydrating and nearly the exact same shade. I love this color. I love how low maintenance it is to pop on. There's like a gentle fruity scent. This is 100% going in my summer vacation bag, and normally it's been like a lot of good colorless lip balms from Nivea, but this shade is absolutely brilliant. Even if you're thinking like, oh, looking at the cap thinking, isn't that gonna be way too dark? No, it's just this perfect berry, like I just had a delicious popsicle kind of flush. It's great. You've gotta get this one. To me, I think the biggest hits from this little review roundup would be these new blushes from the balm, and also this Nivea tinted lip balm, like absolutely fantastic. The NARS little eye palette, kind of disappointing honestly. If anything has been absolutely made for convenience. It's something of this size that's like smaller than the palm of my hand, but some of the shades in here are just too dang fussy. I am not going to continue using this concealer from Catrice. I thought that's too drying, too fragranced. I do love these oil-infused lip tints from NARS, but I feel like this original one that came with the Orgasm lineup is probably still the best. And also, long live lipstick. I got this from the Connor Claire Boutique. Karen, Makeup and Beauty blog. Love it. Loving these shirts. But thank you again so much, guys, for your time. Let me know if you enjoyed this little rapid fire format for some beauty reviews, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.